Okay, so today's page in math is more multiplication. These squares are not for models. Those squares are for your answers. So we are not making tiny little models. We are actually just going to put our answers in. So I'm going to go through some problems. Up here are the problems I want you to do first. Okay, if you happen to get those done, yes, you can finish the page. All right, so let's work on number 2 together. Step 1, you do not have room to do much math on this page unless you write tiny. All right, I've looked at a lot of your handwriting. You do not have enough space to do it there. Most of you write normal to big. So most of you do not write tiny. So I suggest, actually I'm requiring, you get a sheet of paper. If you need to pause the video now to do so, do it. Once you have your paper, okay, I've went over paper use plenty of times. Keep it neat, write the problem you're working on, and step 1 is always write the problem down. Okay, 4 times 9 1/3. That's step 1. That's the easiest step, but lots of you try to skip it. You need to write the problem down. Step 2, make each of those a fraction. If you do not remember how to make whole numbers fractions, you can review the video. If you do not remember how to make mixed numbers into fractions, you can review the video. Okay, so for a whole number, 4/1. For a mixed number, we do triangle. Three times 9 is 27 plus 1, 28. You bring it back down and put it over 3. All right, so I have 28 over 3. Now you have to rewrite the problem. 4/1 times 28 over 3. Some of you want to stop and throw it back in a bracket because it's improper. But you have to take these numbers, make them into fractions, and then you are multiplying straight across. 4 times 28. I do not know it off the top of my head, so I'm going to come out here to the side and work it out. 4 times 8, 32. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10, 11. So 112 over 1 times 3 is 3. Okay. Now I have multiplied. So now this is my answer. But what kind of fraction is it?
Improper.
And what do you do when you're improper?
You throw it in the bracket.
So we're going to throw it in the bracket. Okay. 112, numerator goes in, denominator goes out. 1 can't be divided by 3. 11 can be. It goes in 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. 11 minus 9 is 2. Check. 2 is less than 3. Bring down 22. 22 divided by 3 goes 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 is less than 3, checking. Nothing left to bring down. So then I write my remainder on top, and the denominator stays the same, which is my divisor, 3. So 37 1/3 is my answer. Now when you have a piece of paper, it is always good to circle your answer. Some of you are only wanting to write the fraction, but it is the whole thing here, the mixed number. So you're going to go over to 2, and write 37 1/3. Now, let's go to the next one. We're going to work together. 3. Okay, again, step 1. Write down the problem. Now, when you are writing a mixed number, the whole number is the size of the fraction. All right? Because if you write it small, you're going to confuse it with either the numerator or the denominator. So a fraction with the numerator and denominator combined is the size of the whole number in front of it. Okay, so I have my problem written down. 5 5/6, 2 3/5. Step 1, check. Step 2, make them into fractions. These are both mixed numbers, so I'm going to do the triangle method. I like drawing a triangle for visual effects. You do not have to draw the triangle. If you just want to put a times here and a plus here, I don't care, you know. There are just steps I take to make it visually easier to understand. And then myself, as a person who has done math for many, many years, there's steps that I do to ensure that I get it right. All right. Some people don't have to do those steps. Okay. Let's just say like Mr. Williams. Okay. He's also taught math for many, many years. He does things his way. I do things my way because after a certain point, you know what you need to do in order to get things right. One thing I know I have to do is slow down. Because when I try to speed through things, I will multiply wrong, I will subtract wrong, I will add wrong, I will forget to add what I carry, right? So will you. So speed is my number one thing. If I go too fast, I know I will get problems wrong. Other times, there's little tricks that I do. You may hear me counting up when I'm adding. It's something I do, and if you need to do it, you can do it too. All right? There's certain little tricks that you will see as you go on in life that you can do to help ensure that you get things correct. In math, being precise is something that you are supposed to learn. And it is not about shortcuts. It's not about not writing things down. It's about doing what you need to do in order to get problems correct. So, that being said, let's continue. I'm going to fill out my little triangles here. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 5 is 35. Bring it back down, put it over 6. Sorry, didn't realize I was off frame. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Bring it back down and put it over 5. Now, I'm going to show you a trick. You do not have to use this trick. If it confuses you, ignore it. Right? But I can already tell, because I've been doing math for so long, that I will need to reduce this problem when I am done. Now there is a trick where you can reduce by the lowest common factor. We've already done it from top and bottom, but you can do it from top and bottom of opposites. All right? That's why I'm drawing the little X. You can use 35 and 5. All right? And that's why I said I know I'm already going to have to reduce, because both of those end in 5, which means both of those have factors of 5. All right? So if I divide 35 by 5, I can get, you cross it out and you put 7. All right? You cross it out and put 7. If I divide 5 by 5, you can cross it out and put 1. That's going to make the multiplying much easier if you reduce before you multiply. Because in effect, the top is 35 times 13 and 6 times 30. If you look at it that way. Whoops, I'm sorry, 6 times 5. I'm working it in my brain before I go forward. All right, since you can multiply in any order, it's the same as 35 times 13 over 5 times 6. And if you look at it that way, it's like 35 over 5. And they're both divisible by 5. So you can reduce, but you don't have to write all this out. You can just draw your little X and compare the opposite corners. Right? So, like I said, I like to do that. I'm going to rewrite it a little bit neater down here. 7 over 6 times 13 over 1. Because it makes the math so much easier. 7 times 13 is so much easier than 35 times 13. Right? Do I know it in my head? No. Am I going to have to work it out here to the side? Yes. But is it easier math? Yes. Okay, so 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 1 is 7, 8, 9. Right there, you just saw me count up. So it's 91 on top as my numerator. And 1 times 6, 6 times 1, like I said, multiply in any order, is 6. And what kind of fraction is it? And what do you do when you're improper?
Throw it in the bracket.
Throw it in the bracket. All right, so 91 divided by 6. 9 can be divided by 6. It goes in one time. Oops, I'm getting a little sideways here. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract 3. 3 is less than 6, so I'm going to bring down. 31 divided by 6 is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Subtract is 1. 1 is less than 6. Nothing left to bring down, so I'm going to write my remainder up here. 1 over the divisor, which is the denominator because it doesn't change, 1/6. 15 and 1/6. This is already reduced. Okay? If you would have worked out the problem the other way, you would have gotten a much larger number because 35 times 13 is, I'm going to write it up here. Well, I'll write it over here. 455. And, of course, 6 times 5 is 30. And if you would have thrown that in the bracket, you would have gotten 15 again. Hold on. And 15 and 5/30. And I just did the cardinal rule. Now it looks like 155 over 30, right? You would have gotten 15 and 5/30. All right, see why you don't write it like that? Looks like I could just do that. So, 15 and 5/30, and then you would have had to have reduced to get this, right? This is a huge number, and dividing by 30 is not easy. Dividing by 6 is much easier. So just check beforehand. Now, if this totally confuses you, don't do it. Simple as that. Don't do it. All right? Do the long math. If you're good at multiplying and dividing, do the long math. It's okay. You can see it's the same answer in the end. I just like doing this, reducing before I multiply, so I'm dealing with smaller numbers. Okay, so you write your answer in the block. Concentrate on these problems and review any of the short videos you need to. Happy math!